Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you just left from my last vlog, then this is familiar because I'm still in the same setting and same clothes, but it is day 4 of the Full Moon Readathon. This is hosted by Jan. Go check her out. I will have all the links down below. If you want to know more about the Full Moon Readathon, you can check out my last video or you can check out her announcement video. Last vlog, I took on the card The Mummy and completed my read of the Richard Bachman books by Stephen King. So go check that out if you haven't already. I read Stephen King, Richard Bachman books for 72 hours and it was quite a time. We also had some traveling and stuff, so today is just kind of going to be what I thought was going to be a little bit more of a reset. It was kind of yesterday, but today we're back moving. We have plans and we're going to be spending some time with family. There's a lot going on with our family right now, so I don't know how much I will check in with you guys today, but I am starting my second card for the Full Moon Readathon, and I chose the Clown because apparently yesterday was National Clown Day, which is so cool. I wish I would have known ahead of time, or I would have had my post ready for that because I just recently did an It look, so that would have been perfect for it, but you know. It is what it is. But this whole week, I think, is like Clown Week. So I just think it was really a fun idea to go ahead and just, it kind of made my mind up to go to Klowns next after The Mummy. So yeah, the next 3-4 days, I'm going to be reading Clown books and taking you guys along with me. Now, before this readathon, before I even decided to participate in this readathon, I did start a clown video because like I mentioned, I cosplayed it, and so I kind of wanted to do my little clown TBR dressed up as it in the full makeup. So I am going to insert that here for you guys because it'll give you a little bit of an idea of what clown books are on my radar, what clown books are on my TBR, and maybe what I will read during this video. Obviously not all of them because I'm just giving this like 4 days max, but also will say if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have a little sneak peek as to what books I've put in my pile for this TBR, for this entire readathon, so you'll kind of be spoiled there, but still, with that being said, the other books are definitely clown books I want to eventually get to. They're on my radar. In case you want to know those books, keep on watching, and then you'll see what I'm reading today. So I thought, what would be the best way to build a clown carnival book TBR besides showing up as an actual clown? For real though, I am currently filming for some upcoming things for Halloween. I'm trying to get a head start. On top of that, I have been trying to ignite the creative side to get back into what I used to do, and that is create some different looks, and whether it's based off book characters or horror movie characters. and I had so much fun creating this. Back when I used to do a lot of beauty content on this channel, I was also posting on my beauty Instagram, and especially around Halloween time, I would do so many different looks, but I never did a Pennywise look. And I'm not gonna lie, Tim Curry I think is my all-time favorite Pennywise, but I do love our new Pennywise as well, and I just thought that this one would go so well with my like newer red hair and all of that, and I had a lot of fun. I made my first ever little sailboat and did the SS Georgie on it. Did some blood splatter, all fake blood of course. And now I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to read some more Clown Carnival books ever since, I think it was like the end of last year. I completed the entire book for the first time ever. I have literally tried reading this book so many times. If I didn't say it, this is my first time creating a Pennywise look, so I had a lot of fun, and I know I'm going to be posting it to my beauty Instagram come Halloween time. But you may have already seen this on my bookish Instagram because I'm not going to be able to wait. I took some pictures a while ago and I had so much fun with it, and I'm just so excited to get back into creating like cosplay and horror looks and stuff. I have so much fun with it, and it just makes me so inspired, and it gets me excited to read more and watch more horror, so yeah. Anyways, what this video is about is I was inspired after finishing it last year to read some more clown horror books, and there's a few that I kept seeing recommended over and over again, so I'm hoping to get to them during this video. But I thought, since I'm already doing this look and getting it ready for Halloween time and also for just accomplishing reading it and wanting to post it on my bookish Instagram, I decided this is the perfect time. You're gonna help me build my TBR. I guess just listen to me as I ramble and build my TBR for some Clown Carnival themed books. I have heard nothing but good things about Cirque Berserk, and so I definitely want to read that one. This is by Jessica Guess. This is like a series, I believe it's like a collaborative series where there's different authors and different books, so like you don't have to read them in order, but it's called Rewind or Die, and I definitely am intrigued in reading some more of them because usually those are right up my alley. But this is a novella. It's 172 pages, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. The summer of 1989 brought terror to the town of Shadows Creek, Florida, in the form of a massacre at the local carnival, Cirque Berserk. One fateful night, a group of teens killed a dozen people, then disappeared into thin air. No one knows why they did it, where they went, or even how many of them there were. But legend has it they still roam the abandoned carnival looking for blood to spill. 30 years later, best friends Sam and Rochelle are in the midst of a boring senior trip when they learn about the infamous Cirque Berserk. Seeking one last adventure, they and their friends journey to the nearby Shadows Creek to see if the urban legends about Cirque Berserk are true, but waiting for them beyond the carnival gates in the night is a night of brutality, bloodshed, and betrayal. Will they make it out alive, or will the carnival's past demons extinguish their futures? I am so excited to read that. A book that I actually already own is Joyland by Stephen King, so I am hoping to get to that one during this video. College student Devin Jones took the summer job at Joyland, hoping to forget the girl who broke his heart, but he wound up facing something far more terrible. The legacy of a vicious murder, the fate of a dying child, and dark truths about life. And what comes after? That would change his world forever. It's a horror story that also has a coming of age and love and loss in it. It has pretty decent reviews as well. Next up is Clown and Cornfield by Adam Cesare. I could be saying that wrong. There's actually 3 of these books now. I'm just so far behind. The first one came out in 2020, then the second one in 2022, and then the third one, the third one's actually coming out this August. So this is perfect. I'm just going to read the synopsis for the first one, and then we'll just see where this video takes me with this series. Quinn Maybrook just wants to make it until graduation. She might not make it to the morning, Quinn and her father moved to tiny, boring Kettle Springs to find a fresh start, but ever since the Bay Pen corn syrup factory shut down, Kettle Springs has cracked in half. On one side are the adults who are desperate to make Kettle Springs great again, and on the other side are the kids who want to have fun, make prank videos, and get out of Kettle Springs as quick as they can. Kettle Springs is caught in a battle between old and new, tradition and progress. It's a fight that looks like it will destroy the town, until Frendo, the Bay Pen mascot, creepy clown, and a pork pie hat, goes homicidal and decides that the only way to Kettle Springs to grow back is to cull the rotten crop of kids who live there now. Sounds kind of like Children of like the Corn, but like it's the mascot like going after the children. It's another one that has really good ratings and says it's an incredible clown slasher. I also keep hearing about Fantasticland by Mike Bockoven, if I'm saying that correctly. This is one that takes place in 1970. Fantasticland has been the theme park where fun is guaranteed, but when a hurricane ravages the Florida coast and isolates the park, the employees find it anything but fun. 5 weeks later, the authorities who rescue the survivors encounter a scene of horror. Photos soon emerge online of heads on spikes outside the rides, human bones littering the gift shops, breaking records for hits, views, likes, clicks, and shares. How could a group of survivors, mostly teenagers, commit such terrible acts? Presented as a fact-finding investigation and a series of first-person interviews, Fantasticland pieces together the grisly series of events. Park policy was that the mostly college-age employees surrender their electronic devices to preserve the authenticity of the Fantasticland experience. Cut off from the world and left on their own, the teenagers soon form rival tribes who viciously compete for food, medicine, social dominance, and even human flesh. There's a lot going on with this one, but it once again has pretty great reviews. And lastly, I believe this one is supposed to be like a carnival themed. I could be wrong. I believe this was a YA that was a pick for one of my book clubs last year that I never got to, but it looked so interesting to me. It's called There's No Way I Die First by Lisa Springer. It's a debut. It follows an elaborate Halloween bash at this girl's family's estate, but soon finds the festivities upended when she and her guests are forced to test their survival skills in a deadly party game. Noelle Lane knows horror, every trope, every warning sign, every survival tactic. She even leads a successful movie club dedicated to the genre. Thus, who better to throw the ultimate, most exclusive Halloween party all of Long Island? And with the guest list including the coolest kids in her senior class, her popularity is bound to spike. Hopefully enough to warrant an expansion into podcasting. Plus, the fact that attractive singer-songwriter Archer Mitchell is coming is honestly the candy corn on top. Nothing is going to kill her party vibes, except maybe the low-budget It Clown she hires. Low-budget It Clown? To lead a classic round of tag. He's supposed to be terrifying, though in a comforting, nostalgic way. Instead, the guy is giving major creeps, but maybe Noelle's just that good at hosting. Her confidence is immediately rocked when the night's entertainment acts as one of her guests. And he's not done yet. If an evil, murderous clown thinks life is a game, then Noelle is ready to play. She's been waiting a long time to prove that she's a final girl. I am a little torn on that one. It seems like it has pretty mixed ratings. I usually lean a little bit lower in my ratings when it's YA, so that one might be a back burner book. But I do think that all of these are a good place to start. They all sound like pretty fun clown, carnival themed books. So you guys are about to find out which one I picked up first, and we're about to go ahead and get started in that. So back to day one here, you guys. I'm starting with Joyland by Stephen King, and I'm so excited. Although I just, literally finished some Stephen King, I am really excited to read this one because I have owned this one as well for a while. I actually paid $2 at a thrift store for this book, and I absolutely love it. This cover is just incredible. Now that I'm looking at it, she has like red hair. That would be so much fun to recreate. Things are like churning. I actually was thinking about, depending on how these books, the books that I'm going to read, describe their characters and their clowns, I thought it'd be really cool to do some more clown looks, because I am pre-filming and pre-doing looks for 31 Days of Halloween. Hopefully. No promises, but I've always wanted to participate in 31 Days of Halloween, and then I always never start early enough. So this is to hoping. I've already started. I've been filming some stuff. I've been getting some looks ready. I'm still planning out other ideas. So for the next 4 days, I'm going to be doing that. But I think it also comes down to the prompts for the clown. You're supposed to read a book with humor, which I don't know if I have that here. I'm going to be reading horror and slashers, so I'm hoping that I can find some humor within that, especially since they're all clown related. I'm sure that there's going to be bits in here and there, whether they're intended to be humor or not. I'm going to find them a little humorful, if you will. A colorful cover, which I feel like we already have that nailed with Joyland. And then the activity prompt is to do something to bring out your inner child. And I thought, what better way than to face paint? So I think I'm gonna do some more face painting. I just did it, but as you guys seen, which was probably a jump scare and terrifying, but I want to do some more clown looks, and I have always wanted to do clown looks. This is my first time doing it, but there's so many other clowns you can do. You can do like sad clowns, or horrifying, next level, even scarier than it clowns. So I kind of want to see if any of these books that I read during these 4 days like describe their clowns, because that would be really cool too, is to and see how they're described and then put them together in a look. I just think it would be such a fun time, but I will try to switch up my colors a little bit, because I do want some different color clowns for my 31 Days of Halloween makeup. So yeah, I think we're gonna have all the prompts covered, and day one, I'm hoping to get through Joyland, so stay tuned. But I do think I need to recreate this cover. That is so cool. But I will keep you guys updated on if we get any type of descriptions on these killer clowns while I'm at it. A little spooky ambiance going on, but it's late and I really don't feel like bringing all of my lighting in here, so I'm using the lamp, so it's just gonna be a little spooky moment. But I tried to be more put together for this, but I have literally sweated my ass off today. We were not even outside for too long, but it's so humid here right now, and we are like on a streak of like no rain, and it's weird because we've had rain like so much this summer, and not like flooding, but just like a continuous amount of rain every single week, that it hasn't been like super dry or anything, and now we're having like that dry moment, and it's like it's so miserable outside. It doesn't help that we also were visiting James's family, who live literally on the river. So looking at the river and just like wanting to have a river day so bad. And hopefully we'll be able to have a river day soon. But I wanted to check in because my book of the day was Joyland. Again, I know I talked about several clown books when I was dressed as it. And I do hope I can get to all of them at some point, you know, but I do have a few that I would really, really like to read now since I have them from my library or because I own them. And Joyland was one that I owned, and I actually started this morning and I didn't make it too far of the way in, but I was sucked in, you guys. And I have so many thoughts. I'm like all over the place. But I feel like this doesn't necessarily feel like a Stephen King book because I automatically really enjoyed the characters, that's different for me because I normally don't like his characters but like the story. And while I can say I absolutely loved this, and it's, you know, the amusement park and everything that had to do with that, like this was just right up my alley and something that I absolutely love, I can say that there's no clowns in this. I think there was once a mention of a picture of clowns, and besides that, no clowns. But the character did dress up as a dog and went to like the kid daycare and had to play like this dog character for the kids, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of Poppy's Playtime. What is it, chapter 3, with all like the little different animals. My youngest loves Poppy Playtime, so we have a lot of that going on over here, and we actually were just listening to the Poppy Playtime like new song or whatever that came out that he likes, and it just reminded me of this because this guy is like having to dress up as a dog and go to like playtime with all the kids at the daycare while all the parents are out at the amusement park. But yeah, it's a really fun ride. I feel like it's not necessarily a full-on carnival amusement park book as far as like giving you like a slasher or something like that. Like you're not going to get that with this book. There's not an evil clown that's going around and, you know, slashing people or anything like that. But you do have just a really fun, almost like coming of age. It's from the standpoint of this guy who is going back many years. Like he's, I think, like in his 60s now. He's kind of like reminiscing on life, and he's talking about right out of high school, right before college, how he went to work for this amusement park in the summer, and the people he met there, and how many different characters and stuff that there are. There's like a fortune teller, and then there's like these shady people, and then we hear about a murder that happened, and I think it's called the Horror House. I can't believe I'm already forgetting this. I think it's called the Horror House though, and it's like a little roller coaster, like horror house that you go in, so it's like really scary. I think like things like pop out at you or whatever, but you are like on a track. So like a roller coaster like track, even if it doesn't go super fast, you know? It's really dark and eerie and spooky inside, and apparently years and years ago, a couple went in and only the man came out. And she was later found in this dark horror house with her throat cut, and like she died. And now people say that they sometimes see the ghost of this girl in a top and a skirt that are blue with a blue like headband. It's kind of like he's trying to do research with somebody else that has worked at the park to try to figure it out and play armchair detective. But he also meets this woman who's living nearby on like this beach, and her son who has a, muscular, I cannot think how to pronounce that word. It's a muscular, kind of just takes over your muscles to where you get to a point where you get really weak and you can't like walk, and then you have to be in a wheelchair, and you know his doctors have kind of told him that his lifespan is probably not going to be much into his teen years. And Devin, our main character, following him, he's not only like getting attached to this kid but also falling for the mom, so there's a little bit of like that romance, but very sweet, meaningful story where you really get attached to these characters, and it's really, really like gut-wrenching. It was just overall very, very unexpected, I feel like, than what I was expecting for this, but I love where it went. If anything, it was kind of like thriller mystery, and I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good time, and while I definitely still want my little like clown era right now, it's definitely making me want to watch like movies that have amusement parks and stuff like that. Just be really fun to recreate this photo from Joyland because it's just incredible. I just don't think I have a green dress like that, so I'm gonna have to maybe wear a different dress, although the green dress is described in the book. But this is Erin, one of the characters who goes around and takes pictures. That's what her dream is to be a photographer. And so she carries her camera around and takes pictures and works at the amusement park for the summer. And she is a ginger like myself. I would give this one 5 stars. I had such a good time with it. I would say going into it, if you are an avid like Stephen King reader like myself, it may feel a little off to you. At some points, I was like, yeah, this is a Stephen King book, but I think it's mainly too because I've been reading so many of his like older works that this one is somewhat newer. What year was this? 2013. So that is quite a bit newer than like the 70s and 80s that I've been currently reading of his work. So that could be why too. It's just maybe some more mature writing, also not as wordy. It's a pretty short one. It's under 300 pages. So that could be it too. But yeah, besides that, I melted away outside today. James's mom has a bunch of birds now. She has turkeys and ducks and chickens, and so the boys wanted to go outside and see them, and we just kind of hung out with family. That's about it for today. Hopefully tomorrow is a little bit more eventful for the vlog. I am going to be starting There's No Way I Die First by Lisa Springer. This is YA. Yeah, I will check in with you guys tomorrow and let you guys know. Besides that, you guys, I finally started to frame some of my whips that I've had over the past year. This one just laid around. It laid on this table for a while. It laid on my desk for a while. So like some of this is kind of like the, almost like embroidery, even though it's not that detailed, you guys. It's not like embroidery, but like it's stringed along on top. It's not cross stitch. And then I did like the beaded look, but like it's just been flung around so much that so many of the beads are like already loose. It's kind of irritating, but my own fault. But I finally have it framed, and I do think I want to experiment and like do some more webs because I think I could do better than what I did. But for my first attempt, I really like how it turned out. I feel like I did this so long ago, but yeah, it's finally framed. I think it's gonna go in here somewhere on the wall, but I wanted to show it. Book is on the agenda for tomorrow, and hopefully more clowns will be on the agenda for tomorrow.
Don't eat the kitty!
In the land of a million drums, there is always something going on.
Welcome to Spooky Island, the frighteningly popular spring break spot for college students. Catch our electrical torture parade. It's a dead world after all. And the world famous Splatterhorn. Oh!
Day 2, it is the morning time of my clown reads, and I really wanted to start Clown in a Cornfield, but I still have not received the second book from my library for this one, and I kind of want to read them back to back, so let's hope. It says it's in transit, because I placed it on hold. It's in transit from like another library branch, so I'm waiting on it, unfortunately. And I really hope it gets here soon, because I would like to start this one tomorrow, and then, what is it today? Yeah, so then Wednesday I would need the second one to finish out my clown vlog. So that's what I'm really hoping for. I guess, you know, if I'm not able to read the second one too, that is okay. I can always come back and do another clown video, if you will. Read the second one, and then also the newest one that's coming out the end of this month. We'll talk about it soon. But today I'm going to be starting a YA, so hopefully it works out for me. This is There's No Way I Die First by Lisa Springer, and honestly, it was a part of one of my book clubs, I want to say last year. And it was just one I never got to. I kind of steer away from YA because I normally don't really care for the writing style. But the reason that this one struck me as, ooh, I kind of want to read that, is a new to me author, for one. So I want to give her writing, a chance. But also, this cover is absolutely stunning. I mean, obviously, the clown is going to make me want to read this. But, like, absolutely stunning. She's gorgeous. And I cannot wait to read this. I am also chilling this morning. I just had to film my, like, morning routine for 100 Days of Halloween Happy on Instagram. So, I thought I'd show you guys it too in my vlog. Why not? I'm using the No Beauty Glacial Bay Clay Mask. I'm about to go wash it off because I can't wear this one for too long. That is why my face is looking like this. I got my latte that I'm finishing up, so I thought I would try to go ahead and start this and get my day going. Hello, you guys. I wish that this was going to be a 100% amazing check-in, but it's just not. It has been a really, really good afternoon, and I've lifted my spirits a little bit because I was really down in the dumps for a minute there. I'm just gonna say it. It's a DNF for me. I hate DNFing books. And if you have been around my channel for a while, you probably know, like, this is not something that you see very often. I really strive to not DNF. I barely ever DNF. And then there's certain occasions where I'm like, oh, I kind of feel like DNFing this, and then I will finish it and just be like, I should have DNF'd it, But, like, I never DNF. But I don't know. The mindset I'm at right now, I'm just like, I can't do this. I just can't. I'm going to try to talk about this in the nicest way possible, because what I think this author was striving for is something incredible, but it just fell very flat for me. But I do want to be a little bit gentle with it because this is her debut novel. Oh my god, I hate talking bad about any books or giving bad reviews or doing this, and I do think that there is an audience out there that will enjoy this book, and I do think it would be younger generations, even just Gen Z. But with that being said, it felt kind of like an older generation writing Gen Zs in a way that maybe isn't 100% accurate, but just what they believe Gen Zs are like. And I feel like that's a really touchy thing to write about. I feel like for any generation to kind of like step out of their generation and write a current generation going on. I think it's one thing if you are, let's say, in your 30s and you're writing about a coming of age story of kids and they're like late teens or whatever. Sure, sometimes you can get a little bit of a like kids now in their late teens are like, and how they respond to things and what I don't know, just their overall character. But for the most part, it can be done because that said person writing in their 30s was once a teenager. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you have to do a little play on time and like go back to base your book into the era or, you know, like decade that you were that teenager, to where it makes a little bit more sense and you can write about how you were at that time, what you were thinking at that time, what you liked at that time, what was popular at that time. But I feel like sometimes it's just not a good crossover, and sometimes it works, but sometimes it's not a good crossover whenever you're writing about a complete different generation and the current day, and it's like you're trying to be in their heads, and this one just fell really flat for me in that area. Like, it just did not... I couldn't make this book seem real to me because it was just so off-putting, the way the characters acted, the way they talked. And with that being said, I made it to chapter 4. I literally made it 32 pages and called it a DNF. One aspect that I sometimes don't like in books is when we have movie stars or celebrities, even like reality TV stars, and in this case, influencers. I think that was an off-putting thing for me at the beginning. There is a guest list and it says all of their names and then what they do, and it's like a host of a horror movie club, an aspiring film critic, singer-songwriter, hitmaker, star swimmer, makeup guru. Like, she covers the board of influencers, and then on top of that, like an artist in music, and then having athletes, and she covers the board for sure. And I think that people who like those aspects of books might like this a little bit more. I feel like if you can get in that headspace and maybe even think of this so far as like Bodies, 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 that movie, if you know it, the first like 30 minutes of that movie is just like a young generation just partying and being stupid and saying cringy things and whatever. That was pretty much what I was reading, but it was just not the tone that I really wanted. And I even thought, like, when we get to the slasher bits, is it going to be worth it to me? Is it going to change the way I'm feeling? And overall, I decided it wouldn't. So now that I have said what I didn't like about this, I do want to point out some really cool things about this and what I think the author was really trying to bring to the table with this book. First of all, I loved the guest list. I think it's so cool. I think it's setting it up kind of like Clue. You're getting a layout of your characters, who they are, what they do, and then kind of being thrown into the story. The story, while kind of having a slow start, by chapter 4, you are at the party, so I'm pretty sure just right around the corner, something was going to happen. Something was going to begin. And as we know, there is a clown that is apparently going to come and start stalking all of these people. And our main character is going to try to survive and be the final girl because she's done her homework on horror movies. Honestly, sounds great to me. I also loved that each chapter begins with a quote from a horror movie. It's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare. From Halloween 1978. I love that aspect of it. I might actually flip through and look at all the chapters just to see which ones have been, you know, mentioned or highlighted at the beginning of each chapters. This one from The Invitation, 2022. Get her prepared. Tonight is yours. Tomorrow is mine. There'll be food and drink and ghosts and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited. House on Haunted Hill, 1959. It's not too late to flee, you know. Ready or Not, 2019. There's like a wide variety of the decades for horror movies with those too. So that aspect's really cool as well. I think the whole plot of the story is cool, going into like a slasher, survival horror, will there be a final girl? And not just that, I feel like in one chapter she really touched on this character talking about Noelle, I think is her name. Noelle talking about how the main character in horror movies, and maybe even books too, is never black. And they're always the side characters, and more than likely are killed off and never making it to the sequel, never being the final girl. Just the reality of that, and how movies should be more, and books should be more diverse. And I love those aspects of it. I wish that there was more of that in this, and maybe there is further into the book, but it just kind of dropped off from there, and we didn't really see much more of that besides a few mentions of Jordan Peele's movies. Again, I loved that aspect, but it's just, I wanted more of that and less of the just weird dialogue between these Gen Zers. I also flipped through the back, and because they had mentioned a couple of black horror movies in this book, and I do also love that this author added in the back, jump scare starter pack, top 10 essential black horror movies, and there's some Jordan Peele ones like Get Out and Us, which I love both of those. I've also seen Candyman, His House. That's an amazing movie, and I don't hear enough people talking about that one. But there is quite a few on here. Blackula, Vampire in Brooklyn, The People Under the Stairs, The Boy Behind the Door, Attack the Block, and even Night of the Living Dead, which I think I've seen parts of, but not the full movie, are definitely ones that I'm going to add to my horror movie watch list, and you should too. I just wish that we got more of that. I feel like if this author would have just written a book about her generation going to this house or throwing a party and this happening, it probably would have went over so much more for me. This was an adult novel. I think it would have went so much better for me than what it did. But we know my history with YA, and that is not an author problem. That is a me problem. I don't usually do well with YA, so I kind of had an inkling beforehand. Anyways, I'm gonna stop being depressing now. I hope that I somewhat highlighted what I really did enjoy. Moving on, I've lifted my spirits a little bit. There's just something about DNFing a book that puts you in such a funk because you just feel bad that you didn't like the book. And I'm trying to not let it get me into a slump. I am going to be starting my next book quick so that hopefully I don't fall into a slump. Next up is Clown in a Cornfield. And I'm super stoked for this one. I've been seeing Adam like posting and what is it called? Like advertising. My brain's going blank on words right now. Like advertising his and getting ready for the publishing day for his third book in the trilogy. So it'll be Clown in a Cornfield 3. Also, another good news is I got the alert on my phone tonight right before the library closed, so I wasn't able to go pick it up tonight, but my hold for the second book came in to my library. So I'm so excited I finally get to go pick that one up too, and hopefully we'll be able to fit it in my readathon like I had originally planned. And then the next good thing that's lifted my spirits a little bit is I recreated my cover of Joyland. Like I mentioned, I was going to do a cosplay of Erin. My outfit is different. I just don't have like a strappy green dress. I do have this strappy gold one that I've worn to a concert before, and it just kind of feels kind of like carnival vibes, you know? And then I very poorly pinned my hair up to make my hair look shorter. Now it, of course, is like falling down and just looks like a hot mess. But I got the shot, so that's all that matters. And I also put a lace shirt underneath it just because I'm not really into like just the strappies, you know? Like my arms to be a little covered, to be a little bit more comfortable. And I just overall really like the vibe of this. Like I would wear this out. But anyways, yeah, I got the shot. I've been trying to go through, I'm going to sit down and edit, but I had a few other things like this check-in that I wanted to film. I am going to be sitting down, I don't know if you guys can really see them, but I have like 12 lipsticks sitting right here. I'm going to be doing a lip swatch video. I'm debating on if I need to change my lighting up, because it's very like spotlight vibes, which is kind of cool, but I know people are going to want to be able to really tell the lip shade. But yeah, I've been trying to just get out of the funk, stay positive, motivated, and get back on track with just pumping out the work and like, you know, my YouTube content, my reading. And then also including my makeup, my day-to-day things that I do. I'm just trying to stay super productive and I'm absolutely loving it, although I'm tired. It's late, I'm ready for bed. So yeah, I am going to film my lip swatch video and then probably call it a night, but pretty productive. Super bummed I DNF'd my book, but my library hold came in that I've been waiting on for like 2 weeks. I did a cosplay and got the shot. I even filmed a little bit of like the behind the scenes so that hopefully I can edit that into a TikTok. I'm gonna do my lip swatch video and I got my vlog done. So I feel very productive today, even though it was a sour day in the reading side of things. But I will check back in with you guys tomorrow and hopefully have some more fun clowny things going on. I gotta turn myself into another clown before this video is over.
And Harvard Audio present Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesare. Performed by Jesse Miller. Prologue. Can you see me? Cold over them. He was standing on the south shore of the reservoir, barefoot and facing the wall. He looked like he was thinking.
Good morning. I thought I'd do a little update even though it's on my phone, so the quality is going to be horrible. Because I've just been in bed like all morning. I'm so tired. I can't wake up. It was a long night. James even got me a latte because I'm just, I cannot wake up. I am, though, making my way through, you can kind of see I'm almost like halfway, and Clown in a Cornfield, and I'm actually rather enjoying it. I was a little worried at first because it kind of started off like the book I DNF'd, where it's a bunch of teenagers, but I feel like it was just done in a more way that wasn't like, the dialogue wasn't like super cringy or, I don't know, just like not... in a way that, like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna really care for, like, any of these characters, but at the same time, like, it wasn't enough to, like, drive me insane either. So, like, this horrific accident happens in the prologue, with one of the kids that they're with, and from there, it jumps a year later, and then our main character, Quinn Maybrook, is moving with her dad, because her mom, I guess, had recently died. So her and her dad are moving because of his job changing from Philly to Missouri. And I'm from Missouri. I live in Missouri. So I was like, oh no, I did not know this was set in Missouri. This is either going to be a cool experience or it's going to be super triggering. And I can say I think it's been a little bit of both so far. There's been like a few comments that are just not true. One of them, which is like very mild and not really a spoiler, is her talking about how there's like, she doesn't think there's an IKEA in the Midwest. And I kind of feel like people see like Kansas and stuff like that, like in movies like The Wizard of Oz, which is like how many years old at this point, but like the beginning of that movie and it's just farms and there's like nothing to do and it's out in the middle of nowhere, and they just think like so many of the Midwest states are just that. Where it's like, we've grown, we have like cities and stuff, we're not like freaking LA, but like we have cities and not all of us are country bumpkins. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I will say this town, which I believe is made up, I've never heard of Kettle Springs, it sounds pretty close to my hometown for sure, but I do think that some of the people are still pretty different though. This group of kids that she's starting to hang around with, which we also kind of got to know a little bit in the prologue, have a YouTube channel, and they do, which was also kind of like, oh, am I gonna like this or not? But they do like pranks and like stuff like that for their channel. So of course they like irritate a lot of people, make people really mad. And we also found out that there's a factory that makes corn syrup, and it recently, within I think like the year, had burnt down. And so we're thinking it could have been a prank from one of the kids. And the factory that did burn down has a clown on the side of it, Frendo, and it's kind of like the town's like mascot. The Founders Day celebration is coming up. I think it's going to be kind of like a 4th of July event or something like that, but they call it the Founders Day. And then there's going to be like a bunch of like Frendo mascots, and we know Clown in a Cornfield that Frendo is going to get his revenge, and I'm just wondering how it's going to go. From the way it's reading so far, I think it's going to be somebody in the story that is getting their revenge on these kids who are always up to no good. But we will see. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm flying through it. I'm already 158 pages into it. So yeah, I will check back later. I'm just so tired. Like, this is just probably going to be my day. I'm hoping I can do some more cosplays tonight, but we will see. And I do need to go and pick up Clown in a Cornfield 2 from my library. Okay, so I know I left you guys this morning. A lot has happened since. Did in fact finish Clown in a Cornfield, the first one, and I liked it. There is definitely YA qualities of this book that you could even say would remind me of the, what was it called? No Way I Die First, that I DNF'd. And this does say teen on it. It is a YA book, and I think I forgot to mention that. I meant to remember this morning, and you guys seen I was kind of out of it this morning. Yeah, I think I had just started it, and then like had looked something up, like looked it up on Goodreads, and I seen that it was YA because I was like, I noticed the teen and I was like, oh no, is this another YA? But it moves pretty quickly with the story, so I feel like it doesn't like sit on those parts like the other one did with like the teenagers and stuff. And although he did write teenagers that are not like super likable, and you can tell are like a younger generation, and like I mentioned earlier, this group of kids, they do pranks on YouTube and stuff, so it is supposed to be a younger generation. It didn't feel off-putting at all, or like it was like, I don't know, like it wasn't like the other one. It's really hard to like explain it. Now I wonder if like a teenager now picks up this book and starts reading it, if they're like, I don't act like that, you know, like they might feel like it's like a little off-putting. But so far I do think that these kids have kind of acted like, I mean, teenagers when I was around that age, you know, and I probably am closer to his age, you know, so it kind of makes sense. But it was just really fun and fast-paced. It is a slasher. It's also a revenge story, and there's so many elements, so many like subgenres of horror in this too, and I absolutely love it. I love a good clown story. I feel like I haven't read enough of them in my time, and I need to read more, but this one was really good. Rating, I'm having a hard time. I feel like I need to simmer on it a little bit more. I don't necessarily think I could say it's a 5-star, so that's what's kind of leading me to a 4-star. And I think the only reason that is because although I really liked it, I do just kind of think it is just like not an average book. I was gonna say an average book, and that sounds terrible because this was a really good book, but just not unique, I guess, enough. Although like I just mentioned, I barely read clown books. I feel like just as a slasher, like it gave me everything that I wanted, but at the same time, it just didn't, story-wise, plot-wise, it didn't stand out enough. And it is weird because I feel like I couldn't tell you a story that is exactly like this one, but it was just, maybe it's the fact that I just felt like it was a little too easy. Any reveals in the story just were easy reveals that you could have just kind of guessed or kind of like seen coming. There wasn't anything like, I feel like super shocking. And maybe that's why I think I'm landing more at a 4. But I will continue this series. I do want to read the trilogy, and I'm so excited that the library has the second one ready for me. I just have to go get it. I forgot to tell you guys this morning, or even last night when I checked in, but me and James watched Killer Klowns from Outer Space. I hadn't seen it in years, and it's so funny. But such a good time. And now that I'm like recreating things and like I'm trying to get the creative side really going and trying to get things ready also for like Halloween, so like around October and stuff, although, I mean, I'm a horror girly. You guys know that I'm going to be posting horror content year round, but there is that element of October and Halloween where like I really like want to pump out the content and have like a bunch of things. So since I'm working on some things behind the scenes, and this is a clown video, I want to go ahead and start my props and costumes and stuff like that because I'm going to be turning myself into some killer clowns. But I do need to finish my prompt for the like do something your inner child or whatever to show your inner child. I kind of did a little bit with the Joyland, but I feel like that's not good enough. I need to like paint my face, you know? Hello, you guys. I am back. I took a little bit of a detour and completed my wolf card yesterday and the day before, but now I'm back for my last day for the clown vlog, and I do have some progress to show you guys. I've been making my like clown collars. I'm hoping to create at least one of the clowns today, and I also picked up my hold Clown in a Cornfield 2. This one's called Frendo Lives. I've made it to page 42, and I wanted to stop and like come read this to you guys. So this is the main character from the first book's dad talking, and it says it had taken Glenn a while, but he had gotten used to the way the people in Kettle Springs talked. It was a subtle accent. They spoke slow, their F and W sounds a bit muted, an offshoot of the St. Louis accent, he'd been told. Glenn had spent the last year learning more than the regional dialect. Glenn had been getting a crash course in Midwestern geography and culture. For example, he now knew that Branson, a city in southern Missouri along the Arkansas border, was where the Midwest stopped and the South began. And I just thought that was like really cool because the beginning of this, not this video, but this readathon, in my mummy video, I started the entire vlog in Branson, Missouri, so that was kind of cool. I believe right before this, they were also talking about like, I think it was like Quinn maybe talking about how she had never been to Branson, and really like explored around to know, and it kind of like talked about how it's like an amusement city for like tourists and, you know, people in the area and all of that good stuff. But yeah, I thought it was cool. Thought I would tell you guys. But yeah, I am going to continue reading this. I did grab the audiobook on Hoopla because I know it's going to be a busy day. I really want to get in a look today, so I need to do a clown. And this is my last day that I'm giving to any card besides the Raven, because my last 3 days of the readathon starting tomorrow are going to be dedicated to the Raven. So, without further ado, I am going to continue reading Clowns in a Cornfield 2, and I will check in a little while with you guys and show you guys the progress I've made on my like clown collars and stuff. It's just going to be a rather chill, but at the same time busy day. We've officially made it, you guys. Sorry for the, like, jump scare there, but I'm at the very end of my clown video, and I have completed another card. This is technically my third card I've completed. Because I was waiting on this book, I had to take a little detour and do my werewolf for a couple days, and then today I've been back at it for this book and actually doing a clown look. And So yeah, I feel like this video has taken forever because I've had to take a detour. But the good news is you guys will have my werewolf vlog in like a couple days. If you guys don't know this clown look, it is actually a themed clown look. Super stoked about because I didn't know how this was going to turn out, and it is very cursed, but I am excited with how the photos turned out, and just the movie cover that I am creating right now. Oh my gosh. I'm hoping to have it done by October so that I can like spread out my clowns, because doing clown makeup is intense. But I do have a few more killer clowns to do because this is one of the killer clowns. His name is Jumbo. And if you haven't seen Killer Klowns, you should. But if you have, you may know the scene. But if you haven't, the scene is in a police station. And when they come in, they find all of these footprints literally all over the walls, all over the jail cell. And then when he walks out, Jumbo is turned around, so you just see the back, and then he swivels around in a chair, and he literally has like the sheriff or like the main like cop or whatever of the station like as a puppet, like he's a ventriloquist with a body, like a human body. It's very dark, but such a good 80s movie for sure. So yeah, I'm in my killer clowns era right now, trying to do some clown looks. And it's perfect because it helps fill my activity prompt, which is do something to bring out your inner child, and I think this qualifies as that. I have so much fun recreating looks and painting my face and just being a weirdo. I just have so much fun. And with that being said, I finished my third book, but fourth book that I've talked about, and I think I'm landing at 4 stars with this one as well, like the first one. Again, it's not anything super unique to me reading it, but I can say for YA, I don't mind the writing. It stays entertaining and fun and very fast paced, and it's honestly, with this one too, after reading the first one, it really feels like an OG horror slasher franchise, and I really love that about it. There's like this nostalgic feeling while reading these. Feel like Adam was able to create a franchise, but also this masked killer, like a standalone, like unique one that is just iconic, just like Ghostface and Jason and Michael Myers, and like he actually did the thing, and that is just phenomenal because I feel like a lot of the time they don't really stick with me, or I don't feel that way about them, where with this I just really do. I feel like it really does feel like a slasher franchise that, you know, we grew up watching. It's just such a fun ride, and I don't really want to give too many things away with this one just because it would, I feel like, spoil kind of the first book quite a bit. But I will say the third one's coming out soon, so I'm gonna try to get my hands on it, and then maybe I will read it and do like a video talking about all 3 of them with spoilers. Don't hold me to it, but that might be the plan because, yeah, I feel like I can't really talk much more about this other than everything I said about the first one kind of goes with this one. This wasn't like a lame sequel at all. It was actually really nice, and I feel like you got the elements of what horror movies usually do with sequels. It's so hard to talk about without giving anything away, but it's like it goes from like a high school setting, and then like in the second book it's like kind of like going off to college type of setting, and I just think those elements just played so well into the story and just made me really feel like I was watching an old slasher. We did have some new characters in this one introduced as well, and I did not mind them. I just overall had a really good time with it. I feel like there's not really any flaws with it, but I don't really feel like this is a 5-star series for me, but one that I like and that I would definitely continue reading. And that is a wrap on Klowns, prompt-wise. Colorful covers, I covered across the board. A book with humor, I definitely think I could give it to, honestly, any of them. I feel like with Joyland, you had like, not really humor as much as just like the sweet coming of age, but I feel like you feel a lot of emotions within that story. And there was times where it made me smile. But with Clown in a Cornfield 1 and 2, I feel like there is that sense of humor with it being a clown mascot, and there was a couple times where I like chuckled at like, you know, you kind of have like characters kind of like in Scream where you have like Randy who will say like off the wall things, or Stu that's a little bit goofy. You kind of have some characters like that as well, so I did find humor in that. So I think I can confidently say I cleared both of those two, and then the activity prompt. So another card down. I had so much fun with this one, but I am exhausted after the clown. The clown exhausted me and I'm so sad I had a DNF, but yeah, I'm going to leave you guys there because this video is long enough. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, if you are watching and you're participating, I would love to know what books you're reading. What did you read for the clown? And I will see you guys in my next video.